Hey, how's it going? This is James P. White from 95.7 Cruise FM, The Locker Room. Welcome to the Jedi Jimmy podcast. This is episode number 41. This is the Willow series. It's actually episodes 1 and 2. Now, the episode 1, the title of it is called The Gales. Now, I'm doing this a little bit differently, but the new characters are Jade. She's actually the princess. She's her she's the princess's best friend. Kit. She's the princess of Tir Asleen, the daughter of Mad Mardigan and Sorsha. Then there's Eric, Tantalos. He is also the prince of Tir Asleen. And there's Graydon of Haster. He's a prince of Galadorn, and Borman. And then there's Dove, who we're going to find out a little bit later is Alora Dannon. If you don't know who she is, you will find out. Old characters. There is Queen Sorsha, Willow Ufgood, played by Warwick Davis, and then Mad Mardigan. They talk about him a lot, but he's actually not in the series at all. He was played by Val Kilmer, and then there's Mims Ufgood, which is Willow's daughter. Now, I'm going to break down the episode 1 a little bit. First of all, Willow had a dream of darkness going after Alora. And so she was hidden, and her identity was not only hidden by the people, but also from herself. She had no idea who she is. So it starts out quick with a quick clip of the backstory from the original movie with the Queen Babmorda, but the whole backstory was actually narrated by Queen Sorsha, who is the Queen of Tir Asleen now, which was an abandoned kingdom back in the movie. They talk about Mad Mardigan being a knight of Galadorn, which he was. He was actually a great swordsman and a funny guy, and he was kind of a thief in his later years going into the movie. Now, Sorsha was having dreams both when she was awake and when she was sleeping, and she kept hearing somebody whisper that the Gales are coming. The Gales are coming. And it actually was a warning that Willow gave her about 5 years back. Now, they talk a lot about Mad Mardigan and being a knight of Galadorn, but he married Sorsha but left just after the twins were born. So that's Eric and Kit. And so we go into the Death Dogs. I don't know if you've actually seen the original movie, but the Death Dogs were these basically, they looked like buffaloes, but they were small. They were really hairy dogs. Horrible people or animals. So the Gales actually attacked the castle of Tir Asleen, and they're a mystical group of monsters that had special powers and all that kind of stuff. So what ended up happening is they attacked the castle and stole the Prince Eric. Now, the quest that was sent after Eric, so there was Jade, Kit, who is the princess of Tir Asleen, and also Eric's twin sister, Graydon, Borman, and Prince Graydon. Actually, if you don't know who Prince Graydon is, at the beginning of the series, he was actually betrothed to Kit, but and she didn't like that very much. Now, they alluded to, like, an appearance was made by a kitchen girl who the prince was a big fan of, and it was actually mentioned, like, we found out later that she was a Laura Dannon that kind of nobody knew what happened to. So if you watch the original movie, there was Rizal and Shalindria. They were both sorceresses at the time. They created a barrier to protect the princess from the creatures or the people that actually wanted to have anything to do with, that wanted to hurt her or destroy her. Now we're jumping to episode 2. The title is called A High Aldman. So if you don't know who the High Aldman is, of the Aldman people, their greatest magic user, their leader was called the High Aldman, and that actually ended up becoming Willow. I love this guy. So we do a flashback to when Alora was a kid, and then we learned that, like, Kit and Eric actually thought that a Mad Mardigan, he abandoned his children, but he didn't. He actually left on a mission that Sorsha sent him on to find the Chimerian Cuirass, which is the chest plate of a special armor that can protect you from magic. But we learn a little bit more about the relationship between Sorsha and Willow. He went there and said he wanted to train Alora Dannon, who's supposed to be the protector of the people. And he was the sorcerer that was going to teach her. But Sorsha doubted his ability to be a sorcerer because he was a peck. Sorry, midget, little person, whichever way you want to look at it. In Willow World, it was peck was the equivalent of midget. So an offensive word. So now we jump to the Eldwin village, where we see Willow's children. One of which is Mims. Huge fan. She's actually played by Warwick Davis's his daughter. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. But you see him as the High Eldwin in the village. He's kind of goofy. He's kind of joking around. Yeah. Okay. But he still has Shalindria's wand. If you remember what Shalindria's wand was, that was that weird shaped wand that looked like a stick that was all curvy and stuff that he used to let Rizal out of her bird transformation. That was by Bad Morta in the movies. I love the fact that the flashbacks in the show are clips of the movie. Huge fan of the movie. I don't know how else to say it, but with the Sorsha doubting him, but then when Willow's, I talked about Willow's children growing up, and he dreamed and worried a lot about Alora Dannon because she is supposed to protect the planet, the world, from evil. And his job, like Shalindria actually gave him the mission to protect Alora Dannon, and he worried. Now, Willow decides to go with them on this mission to protect Alora. And but again, he still remembers Sorsha disrespecting him, saying he's not a real sorcerer because he's just a peck. But in his vision, the reason why he wanted Alora originally hidden was because in order for her to save the world, she might have to die. That was in his vision. Now he's trying to teach. She actually finds out that she could be a great magician, a sorceress, and he's trying to teach her magic. But she's trying so hard and pushing so hard to use a simple spell to cause a sprout to grow. But she put such feeling in at the end, and the sprout did grow. But Ballantyne, who was one of the Queen's guards, he actually was possessed by an evil spirit and kidnapped her at the end of the show. Now, just like I said this earlier, just so you know, the actress who played Mims was actually Warwick Davis's daughter, Annabelle. A funny moment in this series is actually kind of cool. Willow actually, when he decided to go on the journey, his daughter said to him that she thought he was her hero, and his response was, if I knew that all it took was me to go on a dangerous mission for you to say something like that, I would have done this years ago. That was kind of funny. Now, one thing that's going to be a little bit different about this series is I'm going to give a little bit of a personal connection because this movie growing up meant a lot to me. Willow's struggle in the original movie was with people judging him as an Eldman, which is kind of a fake way of saying little person, and him being judged for his size rather than his ability. And that's actually something I've struggled with. You know, I'm good at a lot of things, and people actually do judge, oh, you can't do that, you're too small. And I've pushed through that throughout my life, and it was very relatable to me. And another thing that I realized is, because remember when I said at the beginning that Willow wasn't an actual source, that Sorsha didn't see him as an actual sorcerer because he wasn't big enough. Her daughter actually kind of said the same thing in this show as well. Hopefully it gets better. I like dealing with that part. I need to thank you so much for joining me for the podcast. I will see you next week when I deal with episode number 3. I do need to thank my sponsors. First of all, it's the Dean Blundell Network on deanblundell.com. And my buddy Army Chris, Fire for Effect Productions. This is his setup. And see you next week. Boom.